Walk into any big casino and everything you see is a lie of comfort. The free drinks, the dazzling lights, the soft carpet, the sense that at any second you could get rich. And yet the casino is one of the most reliably profitable businesses ever invented. It does not hope to win your money. It knows it will. The only thing it does not know is exactly when. So, how is that possible? How can a business built entirely on chance be almost mathematically guaranteed to make money year after year, no matter who walks in? Today we are breaking down exactly how casinos make money, drawn simply, no hype and no jargon. If you like understanding money without the hype or the jargon, subscribe. That is exactly what I make here. And stick around, because the biggest casinos on earth now make more money from something that has nothing to do with gambling at all. That part surprises almost everyone. Let us start with the foundation, the thing underneath every single game on the floor. It is called the house edge. Every game in a casino, without exception, is quietly tilted in the casino's favor. Not by a lot, just by a little. But that little is everything. Take roulette. A wheel of numbers, red and black, and it looks like a fair coin flip. But look closely, and you will find a green 0, and often a second green double 0. Those green pockets belong to the house. On the classic American wheel, they mean that even on a bet that feels 50-50, the odds are quietly bent so that, on average, the house keeps a little over 5 cents of every dollar bet forever. Every game has its own version of this. Blackjack, played perfectly, shaves the edge down to almost nothing, which is exactly why casinos change the rules and the payouts to keep it in their favor. The dice game craps hides its edge in the dozens of side bets. Baccarat, the game the biggest gamblers love, has a tiny edge that is still, always, on the house's side. And here is the key idea. The casino does not need to win every hand. It just needs that tiny edge repeated millions of times. This is where the real magic hides, and it is not luck. It is a law of large numbers. Imagine a bet where the casino has just a small advantage. On any single spin, anything can happen. You might win big. You might go on a hot streak. In the short term, chance is wild and unpredictable, and that unpredictability is exactly what makes it fun and keeps people coming. But the casino is not playing one spin. It is playing millions of spins across thousands of players every single day. And over millions of tries, the wildness cancels out and the tiny edge takes over completely. The lucky winners and the unlucky losers average out, and what is left is the house's small advantage, applied to a mountain of money. It is like flipping a slightly weighted coin. Flip it 10 times, and anything can happen. Flip it 10 million times, and the weighting wins, guaranteed. So the casino's profit is not really gambling at all. For them, the randomness is on your side of the table. On their side, it is simple, boring, unstoppable arithmetic. Edge, multiplied by volume, multiplied by time. Which is why the entire building is engineered to do one thing: keep you playing longer. Because remember, time is the casino's greatest weapon. The longer you play, the more times that little edge gets to grind, and the more certain your loss becomes. So every detail on that floor is designed to stretch your time inside. Look up. There are no clocks. Look around. There are almost no windows. You cannot tell if it is noon or midnight, whether you have been there 20 minutes or 5 hours. Time is deliberately erased. The layout is a maze. To get from the door to the restaurant or the bathroom or the exit, you are walked past game after game after game with no straight path out. The most tempting machines sit right on the paths you have to take. The drinks are free while you play, because a little alcohol makes you stay longer and bet looser and think less about the math. Even the sounds are tuned. The winning jingles are loud and constant, so it always feels like someone nearby is winning, while the quiet losses make no sound at all. The whole room is engineered to feel like a place where winning is happening all the time. There is another quiet trick, and it happens the moment you hand over your cash. They take your money and give you chips. This seems like a small convenience. It is actually a piece of psychology. Because the instant your money becomes a colorful plastic chip, it stops feeling like money. It becomes a toy, a token, a game piece. It is far easier to slide a stack of chips onto a table than it would be to peel off real cash. The pain of spending is switched off, and a player who does not feel the pain of spending will bet more and stay longer, which is exactly the point. The modern version of this is the card and the digital credit, where your money becomes a number on a screen and feels even less real. Every step the casino takes to blur the line between your money and a game is a step toward you betting more of it. Now, here is something most people get completely wrong about where the gambling money actually comes from. When you picture a casino winning big, you probably picture the dramatic tables, the high rollers, the cards, the spinning wheel. But the real gambling workhorse of almost every casino is far quieter and far less glamorous. It is the slot machines, rows and rows of them, blinking away, each one a little computer running the house edge automatically all day, with no dealer to pay and no limit on how fast you can lose. Slot machines quietly bring in a massive share of a casino's gambling revenue, often more than all the fancy table games combined. And the psychology inside them is ruthless. Modern slots are designed around the near miss, where the reels stop just one symbol short of a huge jackpot, which lights up the same part of your brain as an actual win and screams, "Try again." They use something called losses disguised as wins, where you bet $1, win back 30 cents, and the machine still erupts in lights and celebration sounds, so a loss feels like a victory. Every element is tuned to keep your hand on the button. They are the purest form of the model. A built-in edge, an endless stream of small bets, and a machine that never gets tired, never takes a break, and never stops grinding that tiny advantage. And to keep you feeding those machines and tables, the casino gives you gifts. This is the part that feels generous and is actually strategy. They call them comps. Free drinks, free meals, a free hotel room, show tickets, sometimes a limousine to the door. It feels like the casino is treating you like a king. But every one of those gifts is a calculated investment. The casino has done the math. Using your loyalty card, it tracks exactly how much you bet, how long you play, and how fast. And from that, it calculates something it calls your theoretical loss, the amount it expects to win from you over time. Then it simply hands back a fraction of that expected loss as free stuff. So the free stake is not generosity. It is a rebate on money you have not even lost yet, designed to keep you at the table long enough to lose it. The card you tap is not really a rewards program for you. It is a tracking device for them. The more you feed the machine, the more comps you unlock, which keeps you feeding the machine. It is a loop, and the loop always tilts their way. And then there are the whales. A small number of enormous gamblers, the high rollers, can be worth more to a casino than thousands of ordinary players combined. For these players, the casino rolls out everything. Private jets, palatial suites for free, personal hosts, and crucially, a line of credit, a marker that lets them gamble enormous sums without touching cash. Why take that risk on a single person? Because the same math still holds. A whale betting hundreds of thousands of dollars a hand is still, over enough hands, subject to the house edge. In the short term, a whale can win big and genuinely hurt a casino's month. But over the long run, across many whales and many visits, the edge grinds them down just like everyone else, only on a spectacular scale. The free jet is just a very large comp, a rebate on a very large expected loss. So far, everything we have talked about is the gambling, the edge, the slots, the comps, the whales, and for a long time, that was the whole business. But here's the twist that surprises almost everyone, and it is the part I promised you. The biggest casinos on earth today do not make most of their money from gambling anymore. Walk through a modern casino resort and look at what surrounds the gaming floor. Luxury hotel rooms, world-class restaurants, huge concert and boxing arenas, shopping malls full of designer stores, nightclubs charging a fortune at the door, enormous convention and conference centers booked solid with business travelers. Over the last few decades, the biggest players in the industry quietly transformed. The gambling floor became the magnet that pulls millions of people through the door, but once they are inside, the resort empties their wallets in a dozen other ways. On the famous strips and in the biggest resorts, the money made from hotels, food, drinks, shows, and shopping now often outweighs the money made from the tables and the slots entirely. So the gambling is no longer just the product. It has become the bait. It is the irresistible reason to come. And the moment you arrive, you are surrounded by a resort designed to sell you a $200 dinner, a $300 room, and a $200 concert ticket, all at a comfortable, reliable markup that has nothing to do with the roll of any dice. And the newest frontier takes the whole model out of the building entirely. With online casinos and sports betting on your phone, the house edge now follows you home, into your pocket, available every hour of every day, with no need to build a single square foot of carpet. The machine has escaped the walls. Now, because the whole business depends on that map holding perfectly, casinos spend enormous effort protecting it. Look up at the ceiling of any casino and you will see the domes. Behind them sits what the industry calls the eye in the sky, a vast network of cameras watching every table, every machine, every hand. Rooms full of staff monitor it all, backed increasingly by software that can spot a cheat or an unusual pattern in seconds. But here is the thing worth understanding. All of that security is not really there to stop you from getting lucky. Luck is fine. Luck is built into the model, and the math eats it over time. The security exists to stop anyone from breaking the math itself, the card counter, the cheat, the person trying to tilt the edge back the other way. The casino does not fear a winner. It fears anyone who might turn its guaranteed advantage into a disadvantage. Protect the edge, and the profit takes care of itself. It is also worth seeing that not all casinos are the same business. There are really two kinds. There is the giant destination resort, the kind you travel to, where, as we saw, the hotels and shows and restaurants now do much of the earning, and the gambling is the bait. And then there is the local, regional casino, the one an hour from a normal town with far fewer frills. That kind is almost pure gambling. It does not need fancy shows or designer shops. It relies on the same faces coming back again and again, week after week, feeding the slot machines out of routine. For those casinos, the loyalty program is everything, because their whole business is the repeat local player, and the house edge grinding away on familiar customers who treat the place like a second home. Both kinds run on the exact same underlying math. They just wrap it in different packaging, one selling a glamorous escape, the other selling a convenient habit. And the loyalty programs themselves are a quiet masterpiece of psychology. They are built in tiers, with names dressed up to sound prestigious, from an ordinary starter card all the way up to elite levels with grand titles. As you play more, you climb, unlocking better comps, shorter lines, nicer rooms. It feels like a video game, and that is precisely the point. The casino has taken the natural human love of leveling up and pointed it directly at the act of gambling more. Players will chase the next tier, betting more than they planned, just to keep their status or reach the next rank, and every dollar of that chase is more time under the edge. You think you are earning rewards. You are really being gently guided to feed the machine faster. There is one more player in this story that almost nobody thinks about, and it is a big one. The government. Casinos are taxed heavily, and in many places they were legalized precisely because governments realized they are a magnificent source of tax revenue and jobs. A casino cannot easily pack up and move offshore. It sits there in one spot, generating a huge, reliable, taxable river of money year after year. So the house is not the only one with an edge. Sitting quietly behind the house is the state, taking its own guaranteed cut of the whole operation. When you lose at the tables, a slice of that loss flows to the casino, and a slice of the casino's take flows onward to the government. It is edges stacked upon edges, all the way up, and every single one of them points away from the person actually placing the bet. So let us put the whole machine together. Underneath everything sits the house edge, a tiny mathematical tilt on every game. That tilt does nothing on a single bet, but multiplied across millions of bets, it becomes an unstoppable, predictable profit. The entire building is engineered to keep you playing longer, because time turns that tiny edge into a certainty, and chips and cards blur your money into a toy, so you spend more of it. The humble slot machine grinds that edge automatically, wrapped in near misses and fake wins, and quietly earns more than the glamorous tables. Comps and loyalty cards track your every bet and hand back a fraction of your expected loss to keep you playing, from the smallest player to the biggest whale, and wrapped around all of it. The modern casino resort has become a hotel, restaurant, and entertainment empire that often makes more from your stay than from your bets, while online betting carries the whole machine into your pocket. Every layer rests on the same truth. The casino is not gambling. You are. And the house simply owns the math. This is not me telling you to gamble or not to gamble. If you do, treat it as paid entertainment. Decide what it is worth to you before you walk in. Expect to lose it, and never ever chase it. It is just the machine, explained, so the next time you walk across that soft carpet under those bright lights, you understand exactly whose game you are really playing. If you want more of this, the hidden money behind the everyday places all around you, subscribe, because that is exactly what I do here. I break it all down, drawn simply. I will see you in the next one.